Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Before we get started with this video, it has come to my attention that Sunday, September 28th, was Jeezy's birthday. Happy birthday to Jeezy the Snowman. I hope that you had a wonderful birthday. I'm going to say something here. I know a few people probably got offended about my analysis concerning Libra men. I'm not saying all Libra men are bad. Obviously not. There are definitely some good ones out there. My brother's a Libra. However, last week's lineup let me know all that I need to know about Libra men. We had Snoop Dogg, Ryan Reynolds, Eminem, Nick Cannon, Will Smith, John Mayer, Usher, Childish Gambino, T.I., and Lil Wayne. Based on the roster, what am I supposed to think, y'all? Look, it is what it is. I understand. Your Libra man, he may be the best man ever. But I was just making a PSA to all my ladies out there. If your Libra man has the same characteristics as the celebrity ones that I showed, you need to run. Now that we got that out of the way, let's continue to our regular scheduled program. Let's continue where we left off. So Jeannie announced her pregnancy. The clouds opened up. She done finally got pregnant. And the world was so happy for her because remember on The Real, she was extremely adamant about never having children. But then somehow, just like with the whole Vietnam situation and also taking her husband's last name, she changed her mind. And so now she was going to have a baby Jenkins. Although everyone was excited for Jeannie and Jeezy, there was one person in particular who had a lot to say. Jeannie Mai's ex-husband, Freddie, must have been monitoring them from afar. And he was pretty quiet up until she announced her pregnancy. And then he let everything unleash and he finally cracked. So Freddie took to his IG to let the world know how much of an upgrade Lindsay is. Someone wrote, her first husband probably biting bricks and screaming right now with a laughing emoji. And of course, it had to be somebody from the manosphere, because Jeannie is their queen, feminine, fit, and friendly and all that. This person was being messy, and I guess Freddie was tired of being tagged on all of these posts. Someone else wrote, I definitely think when you know, you know. In her case, she didn't want to have a baby with at the Hollywood Hunter. People are just messy. Just looking for Freddie to give a response. And so he definitely came out, guns blazing. He responded and said, yep, I upgraded from trash to treasure a long time ago. Best decision I ever made. Congratulations. Being truly happy is an awesome feeling. Love my little family. Nope, still don't give a shit. Red flag. Freddie, what are you doing all up under blog posts? You just couldn't wait to take the opportunity. And this is how I know that you felt some type of way about it. Absolutely, because somebody who is minding their business and who really doesn't care would have ignored it. But then again, we knew that you cared. You always cared. Because the way Lindsay was coming up, rah-rah reptar against Jeannie, I'm assuming is because you still had some unresolved feelings for her.
I, Jeannie Mai Jenkins, am pregnant.
I know she's so happy because she done finally got impregnated by a rapper. That was her dream all along. We can definitely see the excitement here and she looks amazing. So we'll give her that.
I'm barely fitting anything because I'm already showing, oh my God, and ripping my clothing. Oh,
So how did I find out? This goes into a longer story, but Jay and I talked about having kids really early on.
Red flag! Remember how she was extremely certain that she didn't want to have children before? Damn near getting into tears, talking about having to go to IVF, and that she just couldn't see herself as a mother. It would just not be fair to her child, yada, yada, yada. And then the first thing that she does with Jeezy is talk about having kids. Sis did not have one doubt in her mind that Jeezy was going to be the father of her child. Even though he still had a little one around that time. I believe his daughter would have been around 5 years old. And remember, he was going through that whole custody battle with the second baby mama, where she was ripping around the town trying to get him to see his daughter. Not only that, but he also had baby mama drama with his first baby mama. And so now she is going to be the third woman, except she is his wife.
About a year before we got married, we decided to try naturally. When we decided we wanted to have kids, we decided to start trying. This was maybe about a year before we got married. We wanted to see, could we have a baby naturally together? So we tried and tried for about a year before we got married. I actually did get pregnant. And I unfortunately lost the baby.
My heart goes out to Jeannie for that. Suffering from a miscarriage, it must be extremely heartbreaking, especially if you're really trying to have a baby.
After that incident, we said, you know what? Let's accept that we're not able to make a baby naturally, and let's go ahead and do IVF. The very day of our wedding, March 27th, we started our in vitro shots. I went for about 2 weeks. As soon as I got out of that appointment, we boarded a plane to go to Miami. I was sitting on the plane, and Marav starts blowing up my phone. She's like, Jeannie, the doctor's calling you. Where are you? You're pregnant. You guys got pregnant on your own.
Pregnant? Wow.
Okay.
I knew I would see legs.
Congratulations are in order. I'm happy they found out this way. Red flag. So Jeezy, we know that you don't shoot blanks, okay? You have 2 kids already. It was only a matter of time before you would have had a third one. Jeannie also shared the wonderful news with her co-stars from The Real.
And you're so right. Season 8 is really popping.
Yeah, that's right. And we are expecting great things.
Absolutely. And I can definitely say that our Real fam is growing.
Yeah.
And it's been really hard to keep all of these secrets for you guys because we had so much to reveal here at the show, including the fact that I am pregnant.
Not Jeannie doing her Beyonce reveal.
This is like the craziest moment ever. Yeah, you heard
It feels surreal because this is the same home that I said so many defiant things. You know, I was like, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what kind of woman I want to be. And I always said I'd never be a mom.
Yeah.
And there's so many reasons now that are coming to fruition as to why I would have said that then. But I do know that you never say never.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that love can really change you. I think the reason why it's such a big deal is because Jeezy made me realize that I've never really felt safe in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I've never really truly felt safe. And of course, it has to do with things that happened when I was younger. But when you know what feeling unsafe is like, that becomes your world. And falling in love with Jeezy, meeting somebody who also didn't feel safe in their life, we began to really create a place where our happiness spelled out what safe looked like around us.
That's beautiful.
So as soon as you feel safe in a healthy relationship, all of a sudden you start having visions and dreams. And for both of us at the same time, it would be becoming parents.
Red flag. Listen, I love you, Jeannie, and I'm really happy that you found your safe space in Jeezy. However, this man has always had kids, whether he had a safe space or not. I'm just letting you know that. So the feelings that you felt were just one-sided because this is Jeezy's third go around. And he has already made 2 women go through the same thing. So this should have been more of a warning, like, hey, I gotta see what's going on. I mean, I would have hoped that you would have done it before marriage. But look, you're already having a baby. It is what it is right now. We're accepting of it. Now, we can already see impending danger here because this is his 3rd time, y'all. He's a repeat offender.
Where are you at? And he's like, I got 2 beautiful children. So actually I'm good. So we were like, great, let's just have fun and date and get to know each other. But as we started to fall in more of this healthy love with each other, we said, I see having kids with you.
Wow. Yes, and that's healthy. Wow. That's healthy.
You have so much love to give. You are pouring out love.
Remember when Jeannie told us that she uses her channel and her show as her diary? Well, she also used the reel as her diary, and she just had to let us know how her and Jeezy were getting it on while she was preggo.
I was servicing my man. I was taking care of him. And I had, you know, when you get it right, you want to be a visual too. So you got the arch down, you got the legs, you know, you got, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know.
You want to just, when he looks down, he just sees like mountain range of life, right? And all of a sudden, I guess I was just like too into it and giving it too hard. And I heard and it was so silent, God. I had no saw. I had no sound spa. The air conditioning wasn't even on. I tried to cough, and another one came out. It was terrible.
Did you say anything?
Yes, I said, babe, I know you heard that, didn't you? And he just went, baby, just keep going.
Red flag, sis. We didn't need to know all that, okay? We didn't need to know all that. Obviously, you guys were having sex because you got pregnant. So we knew you guys were doing it. And obviously, we could see that this man was ready to shoot the club up because he's like, bo, I knew I wasn't shooting blanks. Now, another reason why I'm giving her the red flag is because when she was with Freddie, she also revealed on the reel that she was a lazy lover.
But I am going to be the first to say, though, for women out there who may be like myself, sometimes you get really tired when you come home. I'm all right to... When Freddie's feeling, no, I'm all right to like, when he's in the moment, I go, I'll be on the bottom. Okay, I'm not lazy. I'm a lazy lover. I'm a lazy lover. My name's Jeannie, and I'm a lazy lover.
Y'all, look at Lonnie's face. Lonnie was not having it because she knew what was going on. I feel like her and Tamar clocked the fact that Jeannie wasn't in love with Freddie from years ago. But sis was steady trying to convince us, oh, it's just because I'm tired. Oh, it's just because, you know, I have other things to do. I'm a very accomplished and busy woman. But yet with Jeezy, she was ready to lay it low and spread it wide, arching her back, talking about, I service my man. We already know what type of time you was on, Jeannie.
You know, Mary and I had this conversation earlier. Okay. So even, I'm sorry to say this, guys. What? So even if you can pull a Jeannie Mai and do the lazy, you still don't want it? Well, no. Now I'm really Jeannie. When I take you from the lazy lover to Susie on the side. Someone is doing all the work. Someone is doing all the work.
Red flag. Listen. So there are two conclusions that I have come up with. So number one, either Freddie wasn't doing what he was supposed to do and sis was just not satisfied. Or two, Jeezy had a ding-a-ling of gold. Let's take it away, Sister Tamar.
Because there ain't no way.
But for me, darker on the side, white juicy.
I would ever take him back, no way.
That I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my
ding-a-ling of gold.
Moving on, Jeannie's pregnancy just sped along, and before you knew it, we were already at her baby shower.
Hi, everybody! I thank you for being a part of the journey for me and to actually come here to celebrate this moment for us. I just really am excited to experience this.
Thank you, baby, for this beautiful blessing that we're about to have. I just know that the woman that I love has to be the woman that I love because she wouldn't have so much love from y'all if she wasn't who she was supposed to be. So I'm very proud and very happy for this moment in our life. And I just look forward to this little bambino we about to bring into the world. You know what I'm saying?
We're celebrating Jeannie's surprise baby shower today, and look who just dropped by for a huge surprise. Celebrating Jeannie's surprise baby shower today, and look who just dropped by for a huge surprise. It's Jeannie's husband,
Jeezy. That's big baby JDR.
Yeah.
That guy.
I have never had my husband here since the day I shared my relationship with you guys. All the details, and you're seeing him in the flesh now, and I would never think that you would actually come. I know, you know what I mean? Like,
Jeannie, he's been on the reel before. Red flag, he'd been on the reel twice. She acting like this man just left his 9 to 5 to go see her. Sis, get a grip. He's a rapper and also an entrepreneur. Of course he would go and promote his items on the reel. Let's be real, Jeannie. But you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of grace because you're pregnant.
this means so much to me. You have
Absolutely.
no idea. Thank you for being here on such a special occasion.
Now, we're not revealing what the ginger is, but I'm just saying, what would you prefer?
Well, we can't reveal because we actually don't know.
Oh,
Which I think is really cool. What do you think?
I know what I think.
What?
I think it's a boy for sure.
You do.
Really? What makes you think that?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just know, and I just feel like at this point in time, it's just like it just feels like we need a boy.
Red flag. Why were you so adamant to have a boy, Jeezy? You already have an older son, Jadarius. Do you remember him? The one you knocked up and down and through the shower and the living room, had the security guards restrain him so he wouldn't leave. The one that you kept in the house 2 days after you beat him up, and then he had to go home to his mother with bruises. You don't forgot about that, son? You already have one. This is craziness. If I was Jadarius, I would feel really embarrassed right now because how dare you talking about, we really need a boy. Spoiler alert, he didn't get the boy that he wanted.
But by the way, you need somebody that's gonna be tough like you right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need that. So I think she's gonna be an amazing mother. Of course, I think I'm gonna have to slip in and change a couple diapers here and there.
Yeah.
So she figured out warm up a couple bottles.
Yes.
She gets the hang of things. I'm gonna let her do what she gotta do.
Red flag, you don't stop it, Jeezy. She is not your baby mama where you can be a part-time father. You're a husband now. The duty should be divided, and you should be an active participant in the rearing of your child. But he's basically letting her know, like, look, I'm just gonna teach you how to warm up a few bottles, change a few diapers, and then I'm out. I'm gonna do me and go on tour and be with my little rap friends or whatever.
I just think it's life-changing. I mean, we used to have those conversations. Everybody that I ever respected that was really successful. And like, successful doesn't mean like monetary. It means like life, happy.
Yes.
They're complete. They have their one person. They have their family. They have their tribe. And I just always respected that because I didn't have that. Growing up, I didn't see that. My mother and my father, of course, divorced, but I didn't see it outside of that as well.
Sure.
That wasn't something that I saw. And I just promised myself before I have any more kids or before I take another step that that's what it was going to be. And just so happened I came to the real to promote.
Found your woman.
I'm gonna let you guys know, what I'm saying? They tell you to come to the real. You got to come to the real. You feel me?
Please don't go to the real, y'all. Well, anyways, it was canceled. But please don't go to the real because when we get to the next part, you're going to wish that you never went on the real, Jeezy. There was an interview that Jeannie did with Shan Boodram.
But you changed a lot.
A lot. I don't agree with that school of thought because I don't expect somebody to change for me, but I want them to grow and to become better versions of themselves. My favorite quality in a person that I think is so attractive is self-awareness. I love when someone's self-aware to be like, you know what, that was kind of narcissistic of me, or that was kind of selfish of me, or that. And then whatever you see when you call that out, do what you got to do in order to kind of grow out of that. For example, I have a really hot temper, but I didn't notice it in myself until I was with Jeezy.
Red flag, sis. You were married to Freddie. Now, I would have let that slide, but you have a whole ex-husband who also complained about you not having compassion. Remember when you were calling him a Mitch because he was sick and needed some soup, and you said that, oh yeah, it's because he's a mama's boy. I'll give you another example. Let's do one even better. Remember when you would yell at him when he didn't come upstairs fast enough after you made breakfast because you like your food hot, and you would start yelling at your husband like he's a toddler? For some reason, you finally realized that you had an anger issue with your husband. See, this is where we actually have to hold ourselves what? Accountable. So self-awareness can only get you so far. But then the second part of that is being accountable. This is where it's going to make a difference, because you could be self-aware all you want to. Yeah, I know I ain't shit. Yeah, I know I'm a little rowdy. Yeah, I know I could be tripping sometimes. That's self-awareness. But then what are you going to do about it? That's the question.
Interesting. You didn't notice in your previous marriage?
No, because it has to do with the type of relationship you have and the type of respect you have for that person to mirror things back to you, where you actually would stop you in your tracks and evaluate yourself, you know?
So you had it.
So I had it, but nobody ever called me out on it. Also in my...
Basically, like I said, Freddie was weak. We already called it. And Jeezy, y'all already know how he's TTG, trained to go. If you didn't watch part 3, please go watch it. Not only that, but he's a hood dude. And then on top of that, he's a black man. It seems like she was trying to do her rah-rah reptar act on Jeezy, and he was like, hold on, slow down, little mama. This man has had beefs with Rick Ross and Gucci Mane. I don't think he would tolerate any type of disrespect. That should let you know that he's not the one to mess with when it comes to that type of stuff. So she was trying it, and she got shut down real quick.
Sometimes being a boss, you have a lot of people who just agree to what you want. They're yes men, right? And so I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. And here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, and he was like, like, that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, who the fuck do you think you are?
So it looks like her and Jeezy also had some blowout moments, because we already know this man cannot hold his anger together. He has a hard time emotionally regulating himself. And now you have her, Mrs. Gasolina, right here, adding fuel to the fire. So what do you think is going to happen? A big explosion, y'all. It's going to be like the 4th of July in their house. I already know this. And between him and her, and then her and Mama Mai, Lord, I already know that house was just flaming.
I was triggering him. So through work, we learned that we both have certain habits that to the everyday person, from friends, family, fans, they'll never see it. But to the person who loves us deep enough, you can press that button and boom, the dragon comes out. And we both have it. So we had to work on that. But he never told me to fix my temper. I just saw it and I thought, unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love, and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have for the last 40 years when nobody else had to stop me.
Which obviously has done quite well for you.
Right.
You know why? Because you were afraid to lose him. And you knew dang all well that he had options. He has options. I mean, Jeezy's not an ugly man. He's just very troubled. And you know, a lot of women love to heal a troubled man. They love to take men like him. And especially since he's a millionaire, he has a lot of endeavors. He's an entrepreneur. She knew without a doubt that he could walk away from her. And that's the only reason why she decided to change. Do not be fooled, y'all. If he was another Freddie, it would have been another 10 years of hell. But because she knows that Jeezy is a man that's not going to be messed around with, because he has boundaries, even though I personally believe that Jeezy should not be anyone's husband with the type of issues that he needs to work through, I respect the fact that he has standards and boundaries. And he let her know off rip that this was not going to fly in their household.
But this was something greater that I wanted, and also a great challenge to myself to say, what if, now that I know it exists and the dragon's there, what if I got rid of that? How do I kill that dragon or store it in its place so that it never creates havoc in my life? And that took work. So for me, I think I don't want somebody who doesn't change. I want you to change and grow, if it means growing into an even better version of what I fell in love with. So I think there's things that both people have to commit to doing, but that is the turn on. That to me, like when you get turned on by somebody you just meet, it's going to be those first things you meet about them. Their savviness, their wit, their clever, their humor, maybe their occupation, whatever you're going to get attracted to. Okay, once you've been together 5 years, 10 years, that's going to be the same shit. It gets boring. But if that person is continuously changing and molding themselves to become better, maybe they didn't read before and now they started to read. Maybe they never cared about their body. All of a sudden they're doing workouts. Maybe they never were an extrovert, but now they're inviting some of your friends over and actually staying in the room to talk with your friends. Do you know how hot that is?
Okay, so I get where she's coming from, and I do agree to a certain extent, but that person has to be someone who's already in a mindset to do that. What I would recommend and what I've seen works, especially with couples who are in very successful marriages, is that that person already needs to have it in them from the beginning. So, for example, if you meet a man who's already showing signs that he's working on himself, already showing that he's going to therapy, already showing that he really cares about his body, already showing that he cares and has integrity about his life, he has standards, then that's someone you can work with. And sometimes, yes, people have trauma, people have old habits, bad habits that reappear, but it will show you that that person is actually actively working on themselves. So I wanted to put that out there. Don't just choose anybody and then be like, you know what, he has potential. No, potential ain't gonna cut it no more. He gotta already be doing something to grow and to make himself better. And if he was doing it as a single man, you can only imagine as a married man, it'll only get better and better. But if he's never been on that type of vibe from before you met him, then good luck.
That's awesome. Who's going to complain about that?
There's this theory is called the self-expansion theory, and it essentially says that humans are unique to other animals in that rather than just needing the basics of food, water, shelter, safety, belonging, we also need achievement. And that's what makes it different. So we are just as driven to find somewhere safe to sleep at night as we are to get up in the morning and strive for something.
Yes.
So when we're in a relationship, it's an opportunity for achievement. Because you can learn something else, you see the world broader, you have a new circle.
That.
So
when you're in a relationship, it's an opportunity for achievement.
Yes.
That is why I'm in my relationship. You just nailed it right there. What's that thing called again?
Self-expansion theory.
I'm all about the SET. That is yes. That is me. Everybody always asks, why in this relationship has it changed you? Has it made you softer and different in these different ways? And of course he's a great man, but what is it beyond his looks or his accolades that make me so attracted to this relationship and working for it? Like actually working for it, like changing myself, growing, doing things. It's the ability to achieve. It makes me actually like myself more. You know what? I told him that the other day, Shan, and I was shocked the words came out of my mouth, but I just felt so comfortable I was able to say it. I said, I like myself better with you.
Yes.
I like who I am better with you. I thought it was dope before. I thought it was pretty damn fly, actually. But now, it's not just about me. And you have ignited that. And by the way, I want to make sure this is clear too. That feeling inside of me is now unlocked, and it isn't dependent on him being in my life. If he didn't work out and he ended up not being in my life, I will always remember this feeling I have and to apply that need for achievement.
I hope that you ended up doing this, Jeannie, because the Jeannie in the podcast didn't know what was coming up. So we'll see if she held true to her word.
In other great things that I find in my life, whether it's my career, which is why I think we love being career women. That always makes us want to achieve more. Being a mom, I guess, is another way. But I'm going to find that little spark in things that make me feel like I want to achieve more. So I like myself better through that activity or that new cause, that new reason. Mm-hmm. So for him, he's that in my life. But I don't want it to be just dependent on him.
Yes.
You know?
It's inspired by him.
Yes, it's inspired by him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I never wanted to have a baby.
Yep.
And not only did I not want to have a baby, I've never been a baby person.
Yeah.
So all the dialogues about motherhood and momminess and announcements,
Never
and
hit you.
I didn't give a fuck.
And it was actually annoying when people would tell you, there's a clock, you've got a clock and it's ticking and it'll hit you at some point. And you're passing 20s, 30s, you're like, no, I'm cool with this clock being non-existent in my whole being. That was me. In fact, we actually bonded off of agreeing not to have kids. Mm-hmm. When I met you a few years ago, I had you as a guest on my podcast. And when I met you in person and you also shared that you didn't want to have kids, I for some reason felt seen and I felt relieved that, look, you can be successful, driven, caring, and woman empowered and not want to have kids. Mm-hmm. I had been the only one to me in my world, but I needed to see more. And so you were that.
Oh,
then you go and you fucking have Ryu.
Right, yes.
So when you had Ryu, I remember the first thing I had to do was call you to be like, okay, wait, break this down to me. How did this happen? Is this planned? Is this what you want?
You want to know how it happened, sis? It's because she found the right partner to her. And that's what made her want to open up and have a child with him. So this is where we have to be honest with ourselves. There are some women who will say, oh yeah, I never want to have kids. I never want to have kids. And you don't know where it's coming from. It could be past hurt, past trauma. Maybe they just haven't felt, like Jeannie said, safe in a relationship enough where they want to have children. And I completely agree with that. You should not have kids with someone that you do not feel safe with at all. So when you do find someone that you want to be with and that you can potentially open up the conversation of having kids, then that just means that it's not that you didn't want to have kids. It's just that you didn't find the right person. So I wish we would have more of those conversations. And there are people who are adamant that they never want to have kids, and then it is what it is. And then there are some people who really want to have kids. So we should be accepting of all women and all of their choices. We all have the autonomy to do what works for us. But I find it highly interesting and ironic that both of these two, they were the ones who were on the street telling other women, we don't want to have kids, we never will have kids, we never will have kids. And then they ended up with partners and had children. I will say that there's a certain responsibility that comes from it. And so that's why I said I want us to be more honest and transparent about the reasons why we don't want to have kids. Everyone has their reasons. Like for me, for example, it's more of a financial reason. But for other people, it may be because they just feel like they can't take care of a kid and they would rather take care of something else. Or for other people, it may be something different, right? I do find it interesting that she was extremely adamant, gave a lot of reasons why she didn't want to have it, and then all of a sudden it's changed. Just be real with yourself and ask yourself those questions, like, where is this coming from? Is it that I don't want to have kids, or is it that I don't want to have kids with the wrong person? Is it maybe my financial situation that's causing a lot of this stress and anxiety? And like I said, for me, I did come from a household where we were very extremely financially unstable, and Dom came from a similar household. So we made it very clear that we didn't want our child to go through that. So if we do end up having a child, then best believe we are in a better financial situation. But in Jeannie's case, remember, Freddie wanted to have a child so badly, and she was very adamant that she didn't. I wish that Jeannie had been a little bit more honest with herself, because then that would have saved her so much time in that wasteful marriage that she had with Freddie. It was a waste of time. She knew she didn't want that man. And she was only there because she wanted to be, quote unquote, loyal. And also she could walk all over him. We already know that. So it's just, be honest with yourself, y'all. That's basically the gist of what I'm trying to say. Just be extremely honest with yourselves and ask yourselves those tough questions, and it'll make your decisions a lot more clear.
And immediately when I heard from your voice, you just sounded you sounded ready, and you sounded like a shift happened. I also saw things differently. And after working on myself, getting into a healthy relationship, and now feeling supported in that decision, becoming a mother became just really automatic for me. And I was able to share that with you.
I want to talk about this 1,000%, because not only did you not want to have kids, you were the president of the I Don't Want to Have Kids Club.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
Yeah, I started it myself.
What I was for you, for a piece of that, you were for millions of other people who were like, yeah, see, look at Jeannie Mai. She doesn't want to have kids.
Yes.
And she's wonderful and amazing and has a husband and has a full life, and she's making this decision for herself. And thank you, Jeannie. So did a part of you feel like you were letting that community down? Because I also felt that too. Because people say very belittling things to you when you say you don't want to have kids.
Absolutely. Not only did I feel proud to have a platform where I could be the one that tells you, stop asking about whether or not we want to have kids. Stop putting it on us to feel guilty that we're not utilizing our right to have kids just because we're a woman and we plan not to. Like, I was the one that was kind of like speaking out about this, whether women wanted me to or not, but I was proud of it. Now that I've changed my mind, I want to still make it clear that I still believe women need that space. They still need that ability and that comfort and that acceptance to say, I also don't want to be a mom. I'm a woman. I've got my eggs. I've got time, and I don't want to be a mom. So I'm still there. Me shifting doesn't mean that I negate anything that I said earlier.
I want to say something that someone said to me, and I want to know what your reaction to this is. Okay? So we're going to role play. I'm going to say, Jeannie, the last time that I saw you, you didn't want to have kids.
Right.
And now you've evolved into a woman who knows that it's her time to share a life and to give life. It's beautiful.
You really dug in there with that evolve. Ooh, I didn't like that one. I'm trying to process it because I'm forgetting you were role playing, but I was like, what you mean by evolve? It has nothing to do with whether or not I chose to have kids. Evolving to me just means growing into understanding and accepting myself more. And that could also mean not choosing to have children. But that right there hits so low below the belt, because you almost made me feel like I was stuck in a place that I would never recognize was lower than other women out there, that because now I changed my mind, I've caught up. And that is insulting.
Yes, Jeannie, and I understand your point of view. I get it. And I actually agree to a certain extent. But I will say that, again, if you had kept it real from the beginning and said, look, I don't really trust Freddie. There's something about him that I don't like. And to be honest with you, I think that's keeping me from having children. Then it would have been different. But you approached it in a way of like, I never want to have kids because of my trauma. And I believe that that was part of it. But sis, you still have childhood trauma and you had kids with Jeezy. So what it was you just didn't find your person. And so, again, this is where these honest conversations have to come in, because there were people who watched her and probably were inspired by her. And then now that she's become a mother, they kind of feel, some type of way about it. Some people feel betrayed. And it's true. I don't blame them for that, because it's kind of like this. If I was watching someone who was a positive body influencer, and then she was telling me to stay positive, love my body, love myself, love what I'm doing, don't care about what other people say. And then years down the line, sis got a BBL and lipo. Red flag. Then I'll be like, hell, what you telling me to accept my body and you couldn't even do it? My point is, when you say something and you tell people things and you give them advice, you need to follow it. I will have to say, Jeannie, red flag, because you knew all along why you didn't want to have kids. You just weren't honest about it.
Because if you would have had kids back then with who you were with,
No.
no.
Our world would be in a dangerous place.
You were evolved then.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I didn't go here to a level up. I just continued on the path of self-love, of ownership, of accountability, and of curiosity.
Yes.
That made the best decision for me 5 years ago and has that decision right now.
For me, I feel great just saying, I changed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just changed my mind. I have always worked on growing, healing, and evolving. And when I look at when I didn't want to have kids, I was really happy and content with where I was, but I was still trying to grow. Today, let's just say I didn't have a child. I'd still see myself as evolved and continuing to. You never become fully evolved, right? But something happened and I just changed my mind. I said, you know what? Because I'm in a trustworthy relationship and I also am not being so hard on myself anymore and I've healed, I changed my mind and I said, you know what? I want to be a mom. I chose it. But the woman who didn't want to have a kid, I actually can see her right here. She's right here. It's not so changed that I don't know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her and I remember how she feels. And to be honest with you, as much as I love this baby and I'm so excited for this life, if it didn't happen for me, I'd be okay. And that would be all right for me. So it's not, and I think every woman's different. Some women, they switch so hard that they're like, no, now their end all be all is they want to have a kid. Even if it means through a donor, they don't have to have a relationship. But for me, it's not that. So I really wouldn't agree with that word. It wouldn't sit well with me.
Red flag, sis. I'm giving you a red flag because you were not okay with that. If that was the case, then you and Jeezy would have kept trying to have a kid naturally. Why would you go through IVF? See, we need to be honest with ourselves. Jeannie has a hard time being honest with herself. I have noticed that. Because now she's saying, well, if Jeezy and I didn't have a kid, then it would have been okay. That's because you have a kid now. But when you were trying, you decided to go get IVF with him to speed up the process because you really wanted to have a baby with him. Let's be honest about our feelings. She's not honest about her feelings, y'all. Always hiding behind something. She's hiding behind her true feelings. She's trying to explain it in a way that's more palatable. Just be honest and say, actually, I decided I really wanted to try to have a kid with him and I was going to maximize every single opportunity because I really love him. Be honest.
Because he already had 2 kids. So let me say this. I didn't get that impression because of the fact that he already had 2. So yeah. I'm sure it was optional, but I would love to hear from you. What was his involvement in this decision for you?
It definitely crossed my mind that he already had kids, even though I wasn't looking purposely for men like that, which is so sleuthy of you. My God.
I'm very like, wow. I'm doing the math.
It's good. And it's mathing, so it's good. For me, I only decided to have kids maybe a year ago, and Jeezy and I have been together for 3 years. So for 2 years, we decided not to. But at the same time, when our relationship started getting really inosculated, that's when I was at a better place. He was at a great place. We were both doing therapy. We both had gone through some life situations together that bonded us even more. And we looked at each other and we were like, I don't know how you feel about this, but what if we had kids? How do you feel about that? And it was the most honest, beautiful conversation because
who was the person who brought that? You made it seem like it was Disney, where you guys both came to the kitchen table.
Ooh, I love Shan. You know what, Shan? I'm going to give you your 10s. Sis, This is how you conduct an interview. Shan is an excellent interviewer. See how sis was trying to talk about, oh yeah, we came up to each other and we said, it's finally time. But Shan was like, wait, hold on a second. I know somebody had to bring up the conversation. Who's the one who initiated it? Thank you, sis, because I was about to ask the very same question. Green flag, Shan. I need to watch more of your interviews, actually. I'm about to check out your channel and see what you gotta say.
Say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Let's have it. No, I think I actually did say it in a way where it was like a 1, 2, 3 thing, where I was like, okay, on the count of 3, we're going to confess something we haven't told each other before. I'm going to go first. And he was like, okay. I was like, 1, 2, 3. I want to have kids. He's like, 1, 2, 3. I actually am thinking about it too. It was kind of like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is Disney. I mean, Disney is an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that happened in between.
Yeah, there's villains.
There's villain, exactly.
There's
the arguments that we didn't see in between.
There's baby mamas and criminal situations. Add that in there for Jeezy.
My perception of you before was more conservative.
I would definitely say I've never been conservative. I've always been, I definitely love God. And I love having that North Star of faith where I don't need to go crack that bitch's head against the cement because she did me wrong. I'm going to just let God do it. Like that kind of thing. Like there's a North Star where he's like, Jeannie, don't worry about her. I got you. Or,
but like sexually, are you totally different?
Sexually, I think I'm much more adventurous.
Red flag. Talking about cracking people's faces, sis. We already know where your mind is at. That's your inner intrusive thoughts. And yes, of course, you're more adventurous now that you have to work to have sex. You can't just lay down like a lazy lover.
I think I'm much more adventurous and playful and curious. And I've always been that way, but I've never unleashed that because you can't trust people now.
Not even with your side dude. Remember when you confessed on The Real that you were the side chick in a relationship? That's already adventurous enough. So you're telling me that you didn't have this type of situation with a side dude? See, this is where I have an issue with my Capricorn ladies. Yes, y'all gonna get it today. The capping Capricorns. And I can say this because my sister is a Capricorn. In case you guys don't know, I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. So I live with many different signs and wonders. Is the capping here? So you're telling me of all the side adventures you had, you've been with a... So you're telling me, Jeannie, that you have never been adventurous? You were a whole side chick. I find that impossible to believe. Red flag. Let's continue.
It's like I can't go sending people pictures or I've never partaked in that. Never partaked in a booty call. Never partaked in a sending of nudes because of my trust for other people. I've always seen myself as like, I'm up here, so until you can get to my level, you can't play in this playground. But now that I have somebody that I really trust in that way, then I go ahead and I'm like, yo, all y'all free. Like, we about to have a ball.
But why you gotta act like, oh, he's the first man ever? He's the only one. I understand that you have an image to portray now because, you know, Jeezy gives red pillar vibes. I know he's a red pillar, so he wants you to be feminine, fit, friendly, submissive, and you can't talk about your past partners because it's a no-no. Even though we see that he's had many past partners, but that's besides the point. You're a lady, right? So now you gotta tone it down. But guess what? You had a past. But again, she's acting like she ain't never seen nothing before until Jeezy came into her life. Okay, we just gonna let sis live in her little delusion. In January of 2022, Jeannie shared via Instagram that she had given birth to her and Jeezy's first child, a daughter by the name of Monaco. Jeannie wrote, I asked God for a life of love and happiness. He sent me my family. Baby Jenkins is here.
It is the beautiful mother, Jeannie my Jenkins. Hi, Mama. Girl, I have to say, you are glowing and radiant.
Beautiful, Jeannie.
Thank you. I am very excited to share that Monaco my Jenkins is a girl. I can't explain to you how many visions jumped into my head this moment I put that little girl into my hands. I thought about my relationship with Mama Mai, that already. I can't wait to have that bond with Monaco. I also thought about all the things that I didn't learn as a little girl that I can't wait to teach my daughter now, you know? And there's just so many reasons why raising a little girl is such an honor to me. And I would have been happy with anything, but to have Monaco, I can't tell you, I feel chosen. That was my last 5 months. And I feel like I'm ready. It's time to share the most amazing, exciting, newest member of our Hello Honey family for the first time ever, Monaco. Mom, get out here!
Mom, okay. Oh, đưa mẹ bọc nó ra. Okay, yeah, come in, đưa mẹ. Baby.
Oh my God, I'm like really nervous.
Okay. Wait, can you pull the hair a little bit?
Oh my God, I'm really nervous.
Girl, Jeannie, get a grip. I know you might have some postpartum hormonal issues going on, so I'm not going to be too hard on you. Your body went through a lot, and I'm really proud of you for going through that. However, sis, it's your channel. Why are you crying? You already knew you was going to introduce your baby. Red flag. Stop playing games and put the baby out now so we can see her.
I think online is so mean. I'm like scared. She hates you guys.
Okay.
Wait.
Here we go.
Wait, if she's crying, Mom?
Yeah. Okay.
She needs a moment. Every time I hear Monaco,
She needs a moment. Sis, this should have been your sign to be like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't meet her. You gave us a whole montage of the first 5 months of her existence. I think that's more than enough. We don't physically need to see her, but of course, you know, Jeannie had a plan. She had a reason to bring the baby out. Y'all know baby content and promo and advertisements and whatnot. Y'all already know.
and even right now, as I think about her about to see you guys, I get so nervous. I get so nervous. I think this is what I was going through the last 5 months, to be honest with you. It's such a weird combination between being so excited about something, but knowing that the world is a really mean place sometimes. And, you know, I can protect myself. I can block y'all. I can ignore the comments, but you can't do that with the baby, you know?
Jeannie, you can do that with a baby. You know, there are a lot of celebrities who have children that we have never seen until they are older. Cut the crap, Jeannie. It's your channel. You're not being forced. You want this. I get it. It's scary. But stop crying because you already knew we were going to bring her out. So please, just bring her out. I'm getting impatient.
Yeah, Monaco.
Hi, baby.
Monaco is such a cutie, and she looks just like her daddy, Lord. Jeannie took some time off to be a mother, and then she ended her maternity leave within, I believe, 2 months or so, and returned to her job on The Real. Now, let's get into certain conversations that she had post-baby on The Real that had me raise my eyebrow.
And we don't give guys credit. We don't check in on them and go,
Yeah.
how's the, you know, how are you feeling? How's the adjustment? Where women, we all talk about him. We ask questions. Are people asking, you know, your man?
They do, and I can't tell when he's kidding or when he's being serious because he likes to soak it in. He's like, yeah, I really feel like I need a break. And I'm looking at him like, bro,
Really?
you're working on your album right now. You're up later in those nights in the studio than you are with this kid. But no, Jeezy's super hands-on with the baby, so that's what I do want to give credit. Like, you have to be as tired because this is a whole new life for you. I just think that nothing can compare to what the mom goes through. I went in for my checkup with my OBGYN, and when you leave the hospital, they give you this long checklist of what postpartum depression is, and I had it hanging up all around me because I wanted to make sure you can't tell when you have it until you start lashing out at people, or you start crying yourself to sleep, or you don't sleep at all. So I was like, okay, let me put these around, but I never checked off any of those boxes for me. Instead, I got things like over intense worries, weird dark thoughts about things not working out, crying about things that could just happen to my marriage, to my child, to my relationship, to my work. And I shouldn't be. Like, life is just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Things
Right,
will
life
happen.
can
But you
happen,
don't
no
need to
matter
over worry
what.
about these
Exactly.
things. I also couldn't eat, and I also started to get manicky. Like, I would get sweaty palms, which I've never gotten before, and I would have shakes in the middle of sleeping. That's not depression. I wasn't depressed. I was the happiest I've ever been, but I had anxiety.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I literally Googled, can you get anxiety after pregnancy? And postpartum anxiety went on for 30 pages in Google, and I sat there just reading, listening to podcasts.
How about that?
Nobody talked about postpartum anxiety. I had all these notes up about depression, which I never got depressed. I
I've
am.
never heard of it.
To all the moms out there, shout out to you guys for just having your body go through that. It's a lot. Now, another thing that was revealed on The Real about Jeannie's postpartum experience is that Jeezy couldn't wait to get his ding-a-ling of gold all up in her again.
I'm nerdy about this. I think I've already said, like, my love language is acts of service. So to see Jeezy, like, help me out with things turns me on in a different kind of way. Like say, the other day he helped me sort my laundry so he could put it to the dry clean. And I'm seeing this man, like, just sitting there, like, sorting my clothes, his clothes, my clothes, his clothes, put a whole bag together and get the dry cleaning guy to actually come to our house to personally pick it up. And I was just there, like, take me, I'm ready. I was just in love with that. I love chores. Anything like, yes, I know, it's geeky. I was just thinking about it.
You got this. But I was going to ask you, Jeannie, because I've heard a lot of my girlfriends say some of the hottest things they've ever seen is their father,
Being a father.
their husband being a father to their baby. I've had girls that didn't wait the 6 weeks. They said, "Oh, baby."
It's true.
Yeah,
we did not
couldn't
wait
wait.
6 weeks. We did not know. And it was...
Lord.
Red flag. Why couldn't your man wait 6 weeks? This just shows me that he had no sexual discipline. Because when you're stitched up and you just had a baby, they recommend the 6 weeks for a reason. Now, just because people break the rules doesn't mean that it is the healthiest thing to do. So your body needs time to heal. But you know, Jeezy is very impulsive and impatient. We've already seen that. I didn't expect anything less.
Wait, did you?
You gonna hurt
I think we went
yourself.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. What is happening? You know what? I am not a doctor.
And I am
I
happy.
do not recommend
And look at
this.
this smile. Listen, you
Look at
heard
her
the
shining at
saying?
work.
You heard the saying? I know the doctor said you can't, but what did the dentist say?
Moving along, because it's going to be a long one. There was definitely trouble brewing in the Jenkins household. Because remember how Mama Mai was very involved in the child care and also in Jeannie's life. I mean, hell, she used to open up her mail and everything. Well, now it was starting to affect Jeannie's marriage. So let's hear Jeannie explain how and why she finally decided to set boundaries with her mama.
I know. Mama Mai's one. So as soon as she knew that we were having a baby, I didn't know this, but she, out of everybody, is more excited than even me and Jay. Like me and Jay, like, this is cool, this is great. But she's like, I mean, I remember the phone call. I wasn't home, but she flew in and Jay was at home. And he said, "Babe, your mom just flew in. I got her at the airport." "How long is she staying again?" I was like, "I don't know, like a couple days, maybe a week." He's like, "There are 5 luggages, 4 hat boxes, 3 wigs, and a whole gang of shoes that she just put in my closet. What do I do?" And I was like, dang, and I know her because she's lived with me, remember?
Yeah.
And in Asian culture, you don't even have to ask. Like,
Right.
your mom could go, like, stay with you guys, and it's no big deal.
She's there to care for you, to nurture you
That's
while
not,
you're pregnant.
That's like not Jeezy's style, and he's not short. Like, my mom, like, all of a sudden walking by him while he's in his shorts, like, she's like, "Hi, how you doing?" You know, it's like weird.
Jeannie, you gotta remember, your man is a black man. Not only that, but he's an American man. And if he were African or he had some type of Caribbean background, then this would be normal to him. I'm gonna let y'all know. In my household, when I was growing up, we had people coming in and out of there almost every week. I am not exaggerating, y'all. Every other week or every month, my mother would prepare us and let us know, oh, your dad's cousin, or your daddy's sister, your daddy's friend. Somebody's coming in the house. My uncle's coming in the house. We had a lot of house guests that would come and live with us for extended amounts of time. It is very normalized in a lot of cultures. Am I saying it's okay? Absolutely not, because I don't like people walking up in and out of my house. Now, while some people grow up and they decide to live their own separate lives, such as myself, I moved far away, all the way to another coast. I even had moved to another country just to escape the influence of my extended family because it's too much. It's too much for me. But it seems like Jeannie embraces it. And so now we have an issue here because her mama feels like she could run up in the house whenever she wants to. Red flag, ma'am. Don't you have your own house? Now, I'm not saying you can't help your daughter out, but we all know what it is. She's practically imposing herself and moving in and starting to cause problems. And for a newlywed couple, especially a couple that has a child, this is extremely dangerous because it's going to affect your marriage. How can you connect with your spouse? And trust and believe me, I am not trying to give Jeezy a pass here because we already know he gonna have some issues come up. But my point is that you're not even giving your house a fighting chance. This is just letting me know this was the beginning of the end for their relationship. I can almost guarantee that. Because now that her mother was all up in the mix, that would only give other family members the green light to also be all up in the mix. Because, you know, once you got one in there, everybody gonna try to come in.
So what's funny is so the answer is you have to make boundaries and you have to confront them. You have to. My mom, if I told her to go speak to God, she would do the same thing Ilani's mom would do. Like, I wouldn't get that. So I had to have a talk with her, but more important than that, Jeezy wanted me to talk to her. I wanted him to talk to her because he has to respect his voice. She has to respect his voice as the man of the house.
Red flag. Jeannie, that's your mama. He was right. He shouldn't be the one to talk to your mama. You're the one who's responsible to do that. I know for sure if my mom and Dom had a situation going on, I would be the one to let her know. Same thing with his parents. And if something happened with Dom and my dad, I would be the one to let my dad know. If he goes to your mom and he says what he needs to say, then he's going to look as if he's the bad guy. Marriage is teamwork. And unfortunately, especially when it comes to family, you have to be extremely sensitive about who's delivering the news. He doesn't know how crazy your mama is. You do though. So you need to talk to her. You should have been talked to her. But now that your husband is saying something, now you're like, oh, well, you know, he has to exert his authority and no, that's your mama. Why does he need to do it? Tell her to stay up out of your house. It's very easy and simple. But let's see if you end up doing that, Jeannie.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not just my home. Ooh. Yeah, I'm being the hater.
It's your husband.
And he's like, babe, I don't want to say nothing. Please, you do it. And I'm like, I will do it, but I need you to be present so she knows that we are a unified front. And that it's not just coming bad news for me. When he was there...
You know why she's doing that? Because she's scared of her mama. Next!
To confront her. He said all this stuff about, like, we can't let her just, like, take over the house. She can't just all of a sudden move in. But when he was in front of her, he was like, Mama, you know we love you, but, you know, Jeannie, she just needs her space. I was like... He put it on you. He told me because they got a bond, and she goes, I know, she very difficult. Okay, I move. You know, she and I was like, I can't stand you, but like, he's getting there. He's getting there slowly. He just loves her so much.
Right.
He doesn't want to say
that's
no to her.
love and that's respect. You know, and we tend to do that. We'll be like, okay,
It's on her. At the end of the day,
too
she's
cute.
never gonna hate her own flesh and blood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It just gets different.
That's why I stand in the gap for them.
Yo, this is not sounding good. This wasn't the first time that Jeannie had to explain boundaries to her meddling mother. There was a video posted on her channel titled My Intense First Therapy Session with My Mom. This was when Jeannie and Jeezy were engaged. So let's hear a little bit about the struggles that Jeannie had setting boundaries with her mother.
I heard about Beth from a friend who has been seeing Beth for a long time. And I actually was looking for Beth for me and Jay. Jay and I do counseling, but I'm always open to try new counselors. You and I got in that fight, and I was so angry at you, and I really thought we weren't going to talk ever again. And then Jay asked me, why don't you have a therapy session with your mom? I'm very nervous to go to therapy with you because I'm a little scared of how you'll be. I don't know how you'll behave. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know if it'll make us worse.
You're talking about a therapy like a counselor?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm thinking because it costs too much money. I don't want to go. And number two, I don't think I'm wrong. So why should I go to the counselor? Maybe I'm wrong. Hell no.
Red flag. You see, mama already can't take accountability. Mama Ma is a representation of a lot of moms from traditional cultures. I commend her not only for doing it and for going to therapy with her daughter, but also letting her daughter post it on YouTube and showing the world what really went on.
Well, can I jump in? There's,
Yeah, just jump. Yeah, please.
There doesn't need to be anything wrong to seek therapy. It's not about need, which is what's really cool about the time that we live in now. I think therapy has evolved a lot, and it's for those who want it, not just those who need it. And I know that you guys both want to optimize your relationship. I've spoken briefly to each of you, so I know that you both have awareness that there's some issues with anger, with temper. My role here is just to support you guys. I know you know what you fight about.
I like Dr. Beth's approach. I'm already liking how she's approaching the situation. You can tell that there's still a lot of tension. Jeannie's upset. Her mama's upset and thinking that this is just such a waste of time. You can see it in Mama Ma's face. She's like, look, I don't know why I'm here. My daughter's being annoying as usual, and it's her fault. But I'm glad that at least they have a third party who is very compassionate. She is understanding, and she's trying to really get to the bottom of things. So kudos to you, Dr. Beth.
Identify what's going on an emotional level. I think you both have some, history of trauma, right? So I think that stuff might get ignited when you argue. This is just for your own self-awareness. This is for personal growth. It's not about need.
I chose later on, 10 years ago, around the time that I wasn't happy in my marriage, to go look for a counselor. And then I learned in therapy that everything doesn't have to end up in a fight. We're always going to have people who attack us, or always have people who are going to behave a way we don't want, but I can control the way I behave. So I'm working on that. I thought I had it down until you and I got into a fight. So when we started to tape that Hello Honey episode, I did not think it was going to go that way. I thought I was going to sit down and talk to you about something that was very serious to me, which was COVID behavior. And I really thought that you were just going to understand what went wrong so we can talk about it. I didn't know that you would go the opposite way and keep defending what you did, which then got us into a fight and then ended up what you saw, which honestly almost ended our show.
So one thing I will say is that it's very hard to apply a lot of the techniques learned in therapy in the heat of the moment. And that's something that I'm learning how to do, because it's like your brain automatically wants to just respond, especially if you have been in that type of situation where you're just very impulsive. You don't stop before you think, right? And when you're dealing with that, we learned in therapy that is the amygdala that is being activated, and that is the impulsive part of your brain, when in actuality, your frontal cortex should be the one that should be activated. And that's the more analytical and logical part of your brain, the one that makes you kind of reflect before you say something. So that's why it's very important to just stop before you respond and start being a little bit more intentional and slower with your words, especially when you feel like you're about to explode. And I've started practicing it, y'all, and it's been a game changer for me. But I will say that Mama Mai is a lot to handle. She's a headache, y'all. Just like Jeezy was a headache, Mama Mai is also a headache. Jeannie's also a headache. They're all headaches. Red flag to all of them.
I think that would have been the last straw. So Beth, you saw what happened. My mom's best friend, Rosalina, talked to my mom, but my mom called me and we talked. My mom basically said, okay, fine, maybe I was wrong. And I said, okay, are you saying you're sorry? And she said, yeah, but you shouldn't have yelled at me that way. And she's right. And I said, okay, I don't even care if there's an apology in here. If at least there's in self-awareness, then maybe we can start here. I don't think we can do it alone, Mom. You and I are too hot-tempered and we're too close.
Yeah, you're two peas in a pod, Jeannie. At least you realize it. You're just like your mama, carbon copy, ma'am. Carbon copy.
Okay, now I can say, a long time ago, when I was young, I got a hot temper from my father. That's like a gene, okay? I'm so upset of him. I get mad at him. That's why I get angry to my kids. When they were young, I would hit them or I yelling at them. That's what I did. You know what I mean? That's how angry I am. But later on, I figured out myself, if I keep doing that, my kids gonna run away from me. They will not stay with me, just like I run away from my father. I change my attitude. I become calm down. So I'm okay with that now. Go back at between me and my daughter. When we fight so hard. The reason I fight with you, I'm get mad at you because I saw the way you do exactly what I did to you when you were young. That's why I told you, okay, maybe I might not go to your wedding. Maybe I don't want to see you, you know, because the more I close to you, the more I feel like the God punished me. Like I did it to you. Now you go back to me like that. I feel
Generational patterns, y'all. She's basically seeing her daughter as a reflection of herself, and she doesn't like it. And so it makes her upset. And then this heightens every situation. Because when they're good, they're great. But when they're bad, they are awful to each other.
like I'm not your mom anymore. You do your own way. You own enough. You know what to do. We're talking about bring you in. You are a counselor or how do I say in English? A therapist, right? That's good. I respect you. That's number one. And number two, I'm nosy. I want to know what the hell you're doing.
You know what? I think that Jeannie should have gotten a Vietnamese therapist. And Dr. Beth is doing an amazing job, don't get me wrong. However, it would have been better for them to speak her mother's native language so she can really understand the context of what she's trying to say. Because her mother obviously can express herself in English. I just feel like she would have been able to say more had they spoken a language that she was more comfortable speaking. So this is a tip for all of y'all out there. If you're planning on doing therapy with your parents and English is not their first language, then try to get a counselor who can speak their language and English so that it will be easier for you guys to kind of understand each other.
You know why? Because my daughter, she said beginning, she knows she have a problem, hot temper like me. I'm sorry, it's because of me. That make me be a bad person. I'm sorry about that, Tom. She said she go to the counselor. And then GJ, I don't know he got a hot temper or not. And both of them go to the counselor. And they say they get better, right? Is that what you told me? You said you get better after you see the counselor, right? So if you get better after you see the counselor, why when you see me, you fight with me? What the counselor for? That's why I'm nosy, want to see you.
Mama Ma is making a good point. You go every week to see a counselor and you're still acting the same way. Red flag, Jeannie. You haven't applied any of the techniques. Because whenever you get upset, you go right back to your old habits and you don't stop. So this is just giving me another indication that she is going to be the same way with Jeezy. I can almost guarantee that. No, I can't guarantee that because we already know what the ending is. She hasn't changed. And therapy doesn't actually change you if you're not willing to do what? The work.
Change is a process, right? It's not an event. So
Right.
even though we want to change, and even though you just said you were able to change and work on your temper, that it's better now than it was when it was a child, right? It's same for her, right? Just because she went to a counselor, she understands more, she has more insight, right? She has more understanding. It doesn't make us become like perfect. Disagreements are going to happen, but if you can take responsibility quicker for your actions, let's talk about what was actually going on. And if I could, follow up, I heard you say before about that she yelled at you in front of people, right?
Yeah.
And you felt so embarrassed.
I feel embarrassed, but in the meantime, it's hurt me because I don't want she to be like me.
See, this is the thing, and I understand what Dr. Beth is saying. She is correct. Change is a process. However, if this cycle keeps repeating itself and they keep having these loud arguments and also embarrassing your mom in front of people, that is extremely disrespectful. So this lets me know that you have no type of emotional regulation whenever you're upset. You're not learning anything. So I get where the counselor is coming from, but she's talking about it from a standpoint of someone who is consistently trying. It doesn't seem like Jeannie's trying. She's just talking. but she's not trying. Because see how her mother's like, I don't want her to be like me, because she yelled at her in front of other people, and she probably was like, dang, I probably did that when I was, around her age, acting a fool in my marriage and when I was raising my children. And so now I think she understands the hurt that she caused her daughter. So it's like kind of like a very sensitive situation, because I can see it from both sides and I can understand both sides of it. However, we'll see if there's a breakthrough here, because it sounds like they're both hurt, but especially her mama. Her mama's extremely hurt.
I want her to be better. I don't want to go to her wedding. I don't want to be there, because I feel like the more I close to her, the more she's going to be exactly like me. And I don't want to see that. Why she look like me so much? 20 years ago, I was like that. I don't want that. Even she says she's sorry. And I feel like I did it to her. I spanked her, and after that, I say sorry to her. The next day, I got hot temper. I do the same thing, and then I say sorry again. The whole thing keeps sorry and spank her, and I do the same. I hate that. So now when I look at her, whatever she did, it remind me everything that's me. The worst person is me. The best way, I just stay away. You have your own way. You have your fiancé. You have a good life. I don't have to go to your wedding.
Jeannie, did you know that was part of what she was experiencing? That she saw a temper in you that reminded her of herself?
In our whole family, the only people that are really that hot-tempered is my grandfather, and you, Mom, and then me. Dennis, Daniel, Dad, all are calm. You and I are the only hot-tempered one, and you and I are the closest in the family. She's cut off my grandfather forever, for life.
That night, I'm sorry, Con, but I get angry because I'm thinking about my father. I hate my father. I hate him so much because of him. Make me become like that person. Now, the gene go to my daughter.
Mom, I know that I have your same temper. I never back down. Now, with Jay, when he pushes me, my temper came back a little.
Red flag, see? What is he doing to push you? Now, I kind of had a feeling that she was going to have the same type of emotional outburst with Jay or Jeezy, and she did the same with Freddie. She has to work on that. And this is why I truly believe she should have seen a clinical psychologist, because counseling works more for people who are trying to get methods, but clinical psychologists can actually diagnose you with something. And I know some people don't believe in meds, but I personally do, because sometimes there are a lot of chemical imbalances in your brain that need medication. You need to be medicated, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people have such a disdain for medication. Because if you have a chemical imbalance, it just means that the medication is just going to help you kind of fill that gap where it needs to be for your brain to function. The best decision that I ever made was when I decided to take ADHD medication. I literally feel like a new person. My brain is calmer. I can make better decisions. And as soon as my meds wear off, I feel the effects right away, because my brain just starts going back and reverting to its old ways. I'm not diagnosing Jeannie by any means. However, I do think that there's something similar. Her mother was hot and cold all the time. And that let me know that there's some type of clinical issue going on. I don't think it's just behavioral issues. It looks like she actually really can't control herself when she gets angry. And that lets me know that she needs to see a clinical psychologist.
So I wanted to go to counseling so that Jay and I can learn how to communicate better. And now we're getting better at it. You, Mom, are closer to me than Jay. You will push me more than anybody in my life. No boss, no husband, no best friend, no brother of mine has ever pushed me like you. And if we go back to that scenario, the first time, I did not disrespect you. I said, Mom, I don't want you to bring more people to this party. You ignored me. Number two, I called you one more time. I said, please, we're in a small house. I don't want to be next to a bunch of strangers. You ignored me the second time. I show up. There's over 15 people there. There's 16 people there. I don't feel comfortable. Jay doesn't feel comfortable, and his daughter is at risk. This is you pushing me. I approach you, and I admit I did it the wrong way because I was so mad. The next day I saw you. I did not know that there was people around. and I went straight to you and I confronted you. I can't control you. I can't stop you. You're my mom. So you're like, you're my daughter. You're younger than me. Shut up. I'll do what I want. This time was too far. Then.
So Jeannie, so obviously there's the stuff that happened on the physical level, right? But what we're getting to is like, that's what just Mama Mai just revealed, right? Which was like how she actually felt. It was new information, right? That she saw something in you that reminded her of herself and it reminded her of her father. I understand what happened. What were the feelings that were surging through you?
I don't have a voice. My feelings don't matter. Just because you're my daughter, shut up. I'm your mom and I get to do what I want anyway. My feelings are more important than yours right now. And that, to me, is how I felt when people who have hurt me, they do things that make me feel uncomfortable, and I speak up and I say, stop doing that. And they don't stop. They do it anyway.
She's still dealing with that trauma, y'all. Especially being the fact that her mother didn't even believe her when she told her about the abuse that she experienced at the hands of her cousin. And so now every time her mother does not respect her boundaries, it takes her back to that moment. This is extremely deep, y'all. I'm surprised that this is on YouTube. But what I can say, and this is a silver lining in this whole situation, is that I think it will help a lot of you all and even myself to kind of understand the different types of experiences that people who have experienced childhood trauma go through. And when you're dealing with a hard-headed parent like Mama Mai, Lord, trust me, I know. Trust and believe me. It is very hard to stay calm with them because they just know how to push buttons. So this conversation is very much necessary, and let's just continue listening and watching because I just want to know if there was a resolution to this.
And so today I still think about the times that certain people, which I already told you, Mom, whether it's or people who are like an older age than me or maybe bigger than me, they would do things to me and I would not have a voice. Stop, you make me feel uncomfortable. Stop talking to me like that, I don't like it. Then they keep doing it anyway. So I'm going to fight back. When my own mom makes me feel like what I'm saying doesn't matter, that's the worst feeling in the whole world.
Do you understand that, Mama? That's to the point that she got to?
I understand. She got her point and I got my point too. Yeah. I know since COVID, nobody can hang around too much people. That's no good. But the only thing the people I hang out with, I know they don't go to the party and they are my best friend. I only invite 6 people. You know what I mean?
Red flag. It doesn't matter if it's your best friend or not. She told you not to invite them to her house. She had a reason. But you don't want to listen because you're an elder. And y'all are hard-headed, like I said. Trust me, there are a lot of Mama Mais in my family. And they just don't want to get it together. This is going to always be a struggle for them. It's trying to find the balance between being really close, but also respecting each other's boundaries because Mama, my Lord.
I only invite 6 people. You know what I mean?
Again, I understand why you did what you did. And is it fair to say in that situation, by inviting your friends, did you get your needs met? That was something you wanted and needed, right? You wanted to see your friends. You wanted to include them in Jeannie's life. Is that true?
Yes.
Mama's needs were met, right? Because you got to have your friends there, right?
Right.
Do you hear that in the same time, there's something about this equation that wasn't a win-win because Jeannie's needs were not met? Not only she had a need for privacy or a small party, but her need to be heard by you. That's what she just said. She felt like her feelings didn't matter.
I just add few people more to come, close friend and just a few people. She doesn't like that. Okay, if she doesn't like that, I'm sorry, it's wrong. But I'm trying to say, she say one time, that's enough. Don't say it on the next day, repeat again, yelling at me again, the same, okay? Hold on. Wait, hold on, let me finish. Just you yell at me the same again. And then I blow up. I cannot control anymore. I said, I just want to go home. I don't feel any more happy. So how can I open my heart to listen to what you apologize? You already damaged the whole day.
You can stay mad. That's your choice. You can stay mad if you want. And
Lord, they're about to scrap in front of the therapist. My goodness. This did not need to be on YouTube, I promise. But again, Mama Mai is about to go off. I think when she thought about the situation again, she flew off the handle. And now Jeannie's getting bucked. They both about to nuck and buck. Yo, if they were in the same room, I don't even want to know what was going to happen. They look like they scrapped each other before.
so you did. So you stayed mad. Fine. If that's what you choose, fine. 3 weeks went by. I said, let me reach out to my mom and let's talk about this because I know that no matter what happens in life, it's not serious enough to break up mother and daughter. You were wrong for bringing guests over during COVID. I was wrong for yelling at you. So let's just talk about it and get over it. And maybe this is counseling helping me, Mom. Let me come and apologize to my mom 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Mom, I apologize 4 times. You decide to just continue to stay mad to the point that you would say the worst thing, I don't want you to be my daughter and I don't want to come to your wedding. So what do I do? What do you want me to do? Let me finish what I'm saying. Do you want me to be like a dog where I just stay quiet? You tell me to sit, I just sit. Every time I went through things in school, and if somebody bullied me or somebody talked to me or somebody did something wrong to me, you said, why don't you speak up to them? Why don't you go show them you're not afraid?
You're right, because they're not family. They are not family.
Let me finish. Even when I told you about him, you said, why didn't you tell him to stop? I didn't know what to say in the moment. I'm naturally, I don't speak up right away. Now, when I speak up, you're like, you shouldn't have said anything, and I don't want to hear you apologize either. So you don't want me to tell you when you're wrong or when you bother me or when you make me uncomfortable, but you also don't want me to try, not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times, but 4 times to apologize to you. So I'm confused at what you're teaching me. Look what your son Daniel does. His reaction is, I'm not going to come. He says, I don't even want to mess with my mom because there's no reasoning with her, so I'm not going to come.
And you know what? He's smart. Green flag. Daniel? I'm assuming Daniel's her brother. So it sounds like her brother has it together. This is what you're supposed to do with somebody like Mama Mai. Until you get your act together, I am going to remove myself from this situation. And then when you're ready to apologize and talk like a grown adult, then we can have a conversation. Until then, I will not be reaching out to you. Case closed. He's a smart man. Because look at this. Now, Jeannie done went 4 times to go say sorry to her mama. Mother's not answering. Now she's upset. This is a mess.
That's why he didn't come for Christmas. I'm going to try to talk to you because you taught me to speak up when I'm uncomfortable.
If I'm doing wrong as a mother, right? You cool down. You wait until you go home and you tell me, or you can text me. You're angry. That's why you asked me to go outside and talk. I understand about that. One time that's it. Don't repeat again for the next day because I am not your kid. Over the line. I back out. Because I don't want to fight.
You hate the temper I have that you taught me.
Right.
Working with me so that we can get over it so we don't let it pass on to another generation. You cut me off. So you cut off your dad and then you can cut off me. You can cut off weddings. You can cut off big life experiences. That's your solution to make yourself and to work things out. That's not. That's
but you know what, you guys? There's so much emotion here.
Yeah, I think Dr. Beth realized she was in for it. She's like, damn, I didn't know I was going to have to deal with this. This is a lot. This is too much for me. I'm not used to these type of counseling sessions. This is above my pay grade because I don't know what y'all got going on, but it's deeper than what I could help you with. But let's see what the doctor says. Doctor, you're very brave for this, dealing with these 2, Lord.
Remember, we're always doing our best. I know it doesn't feel like it sometimes, but if you knew how to do it differently, you would. It sounds like Mama Mai's most vulnerable feeling is when she feels like out of control, and she felt out of control with Omwai. There was nothing she could do except cut off ties. That was the way she felt empowered. Reaction happens without thought, without intention. Response is a little different. So her reaction to you, Jeannie, when she felt so vulnerable, her reaction was to cut you off.
Yeah.
And I just want to also say what I'm hearing too, and again, tell me if this sounds true, is Jeannie's biggest vulnerability is when she feels like she doesn't have a voice, when she feels like no one's listening. She feels like her feelings, her opinions, her desires don't matter. You're trying to speak up. That seems like that's one of your biggest paths that you're walking in this world. When you try to speak up to her about what you want or what you need, and you don't feel heard, that's when you are going to react. Does that make sense?
Yes. So how do we fix this?
Okay.
The way we start to adjust it is to recognize the cycles when they're happening. If you could even say eventually, oh, I think we're doing that thing. We're doing that thing where we make each other wrong. My way is right. We got new information today, right? Like Jeannie didn't know that Mama Mai felt so confronted in that moment. And I don't know if Mama knew that Jeannie felt like her voice wasn't heard. We're getting to the content that's beneath what actually happened. When you ask me, Jeannie, how are we going to solve this? I don't know if this is bad news or just news, but like, this isn't going to be solved in one session.
Oh, we know that, doctor. You gonna need a few years with these two and some meds on top of it. Doctor's orders. I can already see that. Especially for Miss Mama Mai. Mama Mai has a lot of things that she needs to work on.
I know this might be really, really hard, but my first recommendation or my first encouragement to you guys is that you have to stop talking about what happened or what didn't happen. No more talk about you did this, you said this. It's not like you brought the friends, you didn't like. But what happened in the physical world, I think we have to stop talking about it because that's what polarizes you guys into right, wrong. And I think...
By the way, y'all, this is like a free therapy session. So I don't know if you guys are dealing with certain type of issues. I highly recommend that you follow her solutions because that's what I also learned in therapy as well.
What we need to start doing, which is what I was, attempting to do a couple times here, is steer you to the emotional content of what's happening. Even if we just start in the present moment, take a deep breath, notice what feeling is present. What do you notice? How do you feel right now?
Mom, you make me feel like you care more about
myself.
Yes, the way you feel, the way your friends think of you, your
Hold on, Jeannie. Let me just pause you for a second. If you can go back, start in sentence with I.
I feel like you care more about yourself than my needs, and I don't mind. Like, of course, prioritize yourself.
So I'm going to keep coming back to you. So how does that make you feel? What are the feelings that are present inside of you? Instead of going to tell her what she's done or hasn't done, tell me what your experience is.
I feel like my feelings don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to change anyway. I'm not important. And if I don't follow what you do, you can always cut me off at any time.
So pause right there. Take a breath. And let's just see, Mama Mai, do you hear what she said?
I feel it different. After I talk to my daughter, I forgive, but I don't forget what happened.
Mama Mai is over it. Okay, so you see, she's not getting it. She doesn't get it. This is why I said that they should have spoken with a bilingual therapist and one that speaks fluent Vietnamese. Because then she couldn't escape and they would have held her accountable. But now she's like, look, I'm not going to forget what she did. I may forgive, but I'm not going to forget my daughter and her trifling ways. That's what she's saying. So basically, the conclusion is nothing has changed for Mama Mai. She's still running the same program.
Did you hear what she just said, though? Do you hear the words that Jeannie just said about 30 seconds ago when she said...
she said, I'm selfish. Like, I'm thinking about me more than I'm thinking about her. Is that what she said?
She actually said, I feel like my feelings don't matter. She said, I feel unimportant.
Yes, she seemed like I don't feel anything about her. I only think for myself. That's what she thinks.
After that, she corrected. She updated the way she was saying it. And she told you how she was feeling inside. She said, I feel unimportant. Or I feel like my feelings don't matter. Did you hear it that way? She didn't actually say anything about it.
She's not going to hear it that way, Dr. Beth, because You have to understand, when you speak a second language, and bilingual people, y'all gonna let me know in the comments. Anyone who speaks a second language knows how difficult it is to switch from one to the other. That's number one. Your brain is processing not only the input of English, but she's also trying to translate it from Vietnamese to English and then output it in English. This takes a toll on your brain function, okay? So she can't hear every single word that Jeannie's saying, and she cannot understand every single emotion. She's just trying to decipher what the hell is going on. Mama Mai is picking up chunks of a conversation, but she doesn't get the whole context. So please, next time, Jeannie, if you ever watch this, if you and your mom need to go through a therapy session, get somebody who speaks Vietnamese. Red flag. You should have done that in the first place.
You.
Oh.
So if you hear your daughter say that she feels unimportant or she feels like her voice doesn't matter, just leave it at that. She didn't say anything about you. How would you respond to her right now? Not about what happened. Literally, just like, how about if you do it with me? If I said to you right now, Mama Mai, I feel hurt. I feel sad. What would you say?
Why you feel sad? Why you feel hurt? What did you do? Or what did I do?
You would ask questions.
Yes.
You would try to solve it. Sometimes there's not a solution. Sometimes it's just about witnessing the other person. If you said to me, I feel hurt, I feel sad, I might say, that sounds hard, or I'm here with you, or is there anything I can do for you? And then maybe ask, why? What happened, right? But I think you guys are so accustomed to this like problem solving and figuring it out that you're missing each other completely on the emotional level.
At least she tell me right now. She get hurt, she feel bad, only me and her. Nobody knows. But when she yelling at me, everybody knows. But do you not?
Can you just turn off yourself for 1 second? Just turn off. It's not about you right now. We're not talking about Mama Mai. Just how do you react when you know that your child feels hurt?
It's right
That's
now
what
in this moment.
That's what I told her. When you ask me, okay, example, same thing. Like you ask me right now.
So her honest feeling is when she sees I'm hurting, she's like, well, how do you think I feel? I'm embarrassed about what you did in front of my friends. That's her knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, that's my reaction. How do you feel? Mine is more double and triple than you. Now you tell me you hurt only.
The therapist is over it, y'all. She ain't getting pictures. I'm sorry, it's not funny. But look at her face, y'all. She's over it. Therapist is like, yo, this is not gonna work. I think she realized that Mama Mai is gonna be Mama Mai. Dr. Beth, welcome to the experience of an immigrant daughter. Welcome. I know in your head you're like, dang, she has to deal with this every day. Yes, a majority of us have, and we still do.
By yourself. But me, the whole wide world knows.
It seems like it's a struggle right now, or this is a challenge to stay in the present moment. Right now, in this moment, Mama, right now, how do you feel in this moment? Are there any feelings that you could observe?
Yeah, I feel bad. Because I hurt her, I feel bad too. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I want my daughter happy. I don't want she angry, because if she angry, it's to remind me how angry I am. I don't want that to happen. I'm telling you. I told her I don't want to go to her wedding. I don't want to do anything with her. But inside, I'm, like opposite what I say. You know what I mean? It hurt me a lot.
Why are you going to say something that you feel the opposite of? Why would you do that?
You're not my daughter anymore. I feel like you big enough. You can fight back anything. You can do anything. You can yell at me. I feel like I'm not your mother.
So do you feel helpless or powerless right now? You guys, it seems like, are really feeling the same way. I think you're both feeling hurt. You're both feeling sad. You guys are mirroring each other's feelings, but you're not letting the other one know that you feel that way. Like what seems to be kind of missing here is the expression of empathy.
Expression of empathy, doctor, and also communication. They don't know how to communicate with each other. And this is another problem that a lot of us haven't been taught, especially if you come from the same type of background as Jeannie, aka with immigrant parents. There's no type of communication at all. I'm telling y'all, Mama Ma is the archetype and representation of all of our parents. I can guarantee that a lot of you have had the same type of conversations with your parents. So this is nothing new for us. And unfortunately, we have to be the ones to break these patterns because Mama Ma, I can understand. She feels bad. She feels upset. But I don't think she really truly gets it. She's just thinking about this situation, but this is just one minor situation, and there are a lot of issues with this family to the point where even her son didn't want to go and see her for Christmas. That's a problem. But she doesn't understand that she has an issue. She's thinking it's just an isolated incident when that is far from it. She seems to think that she has healed and that she's a different person, but the old her keeps coming out.
You are mirroring each other's feelings, but you're not letting the other one know that you feel that way. Like what seems to be kind of missing here is the expression of empathy. I know you have empathy, but you're not saying to the other one, like, I hear you, Mama. You feel hurt. You feel bad. And just pause and see that and to say, Jeannie, I hear that you feel unimportant. I hear that you feel helpless. When you express your feelings, like if you say, I feel disrespected, you know what? It's not always for the other one to fix. Do you understand that? Like emotions live inside of us. They get triggered by the circumstance. So you guys are triggering each other a lot. But if you take more ownership, which is like, I feel angry. It's not always I'm angry at you or I'm angry because of something you did. It's like I have anger inside of me and this situation just triggered it. That starts to already disengage the fight, disengage the I'm right, you're wrong. And it more becomes two people who are very emotional, and that's okay, having an emotional experience with each other. Maybe even right here, right now, you would like to make an agreement, slowing down and stating with feeling words, I feel blank. And
Lord, I hope that this is going to be their breakthrough.
just sort of agree that when you do that, the other one could either just nod their head or could repeat back, I hear you.
That would help me a lot. Sometimes I don't even care about the problem, Mom. I understand why you wanted to bring those friends over. I get you were just excited to celebrate us and everything,
Right.
but I just want
That's the point.
Got it. That's in the past now. We're not talking about that anymore. I just want to feel like you hear me sometimes. I hear that you are nervous about COVID. You don't want people there because you want it to just be about Jay. Okay, I hear you. Just say that to me. And then already now I want to work with you. It's up to you and I to stop this generational pattern. If I were to have kids and they were to continue like this, continue what your dad taught you, what you taught me, and then what I'm going to teach our kids, like, where does it stop? I want to start that today.
You could practice using feeling words when everything is good too. Like it would be really cool to look at each other and say, I feel proud.
It took me 40 years to hear that I felt proud from that woman. I'll wait for that one.
I'm telling you, number one, I'm proud about my daughter too. And number two, like I say, I learn very fast, especially talking about the money. And I don't want to spend money to go therapy. So I will change real quick. Trust me, I am.
AKA, she ain't gonna change. She's going to remain the same. Red flag. Mama Ma didn't learn anything in this therapy session. She's just happy that her daughter sees her perspective. That is it. That is all. She's like, oh, you finally get it. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, now we can move on. I can continue to do my meddling activities. That's what she's on. That's the type of time she's on.
Would you maybe practice sharing something with the other one? Like maybe share a gratitude or share an appreciation?
Mom, I really appreciate. I'm very, very appreciative that you were so honest today. I didn't know that you would say one thing, but you really felt the opposite. I really thought you didn't care to come to my wedding. I really thought that you wouldn't care if me and you became like a Y and you. I'm really, really, really thankful. I will remember that for the rest of my life. I will play that in my head for the rest of my life, that you actually really do care.
But Jeannie, you should have known your mama's childish. She been childish. That's just how she is. We're dealing with someone who had a lot of childhood trauma and she doesn't want to resolve it. So, I mean, think about it. She done said worse things to you and she's still here. So you know your mama love you. It's just a weird type of love. I don't know.
And maybe when you're mad and you say something, you really actually mean the opposite.
I hear you. I do care. Of course, I do care about you. Anybody, when they push me in the corner, I fight back like that. But honestly, when I fight back like that, it's no good.
But she's thanking you today for your vulnerability. She just thanked you for the fact that you showed up so honestly today. I know that was really hard for you because you just said, usually when you're pushed into a corner or something, you fight back. Today, you let your guard down. Mama Mai, do you want to share something with Jeannie?
I really appreciate you concern, you care for me. That's why we have the counselor, we have the therapy today to support and help us. You know, I really appreciate that, Kong. I'm sorry too. I love you. You know, I love you very much too.
This is beautiful, and I'm glad that are you feeling more connected to each other?
Yeah.
Can you send her the bill, please?
I sent to Uncle Chad. Let me bring buy one, get one free. Let me bring Uncle Chad to your house. Counselor, you can talk to Uncle Chad before we pay you.
Oh, I'm so glad that they resolved this. But Dr. Beth, they're going to be back at it in 2 business days. Next! In July of 2022, Jeannie had some other changes going on in her life. And those changes were more on the professional side.
Hello, honey. So, as we know, the reel has ended. It's set sail. It's sayonara, arrivederci. I wasn't sad. I wasn't shocked. I was like, okay, the reel has had its run of 9 seasons. Everybody says 8, but it's really 9. And if you're OG, you know, because we had a test run, which was as long as the season. We worked just as hard as every other season. Practically a decade of my life, of TV life, which you know is virtually impossible. I felt like, okay, it's time.
Following the cancellation of the reel, Jeannie focused more on her personal endeavors, which included her podcast, her YouTube channel, and just the Hello Honey brand. And she also started to get into being more of a domestic wife.
All right, so I did this thing called getting married, right? I think that there are some important traits to being a great wife. Not necessary, but important. And one of them is not just cooking, because I can cook, but cooking the type of food that your man likes.
That night, 5 courses. Yeah, we just kept going until you put the flag up.
Yes, it's like I raised my hand like this. Like, not only blessed us at our wedding brunch.
It's my...
I kid. It's time for a nap.
Red flag, Jeannie, your child is screaming in the background. You would think that she would cut the video short to go tend to her baby and make sure she's okay, take her for her nap. But no, she's still talking about the chef and cooking because she's more focused on Jeezy and prioritizing cooking for him. Now that Jeannie had a lot of time to spare, you know, because the reel got canceled and whatnot, she decided to fill her time not only prioritizing cooking for Jeezy, but also going on a road trip to go visit his daddy, Papa Jenkins. Red flag. This reminds me of his baby mother, Mahi, or ex-fiance / baby mother, I should say. We gonna put some respect on her name. When she said that she was the one who facilitated all of the visits between Jeezy's family to see the baby. Now I see the pattern has not changed. Now we see he done transferred the responsibilities over to Jeannie. So nothing has changed, y'all. He's still the same old Jeezy.
Make a mess.
Yeah, but let's do it.
Look up. Boy, your daddy gonna have a fit.
Oh, she is having a ball.
Just you don't even look at you.
There's ants.
Now y'all see how she's screaming because there are ants. But remember when she was in Vietnam with Freddie, she had no issues getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Jeannie, the North remembers.
Oh my god! What on me? Oh my god.
What's wrong with you?
Pops, there's ants!
What is it?
Following the heartwarming family reunion, Jeannie revealed that she was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. I was also diagnosed about 4 months ago with adult ADHD. And a lot of us do not realize that we have it.
I'm talking about something that I've never really discussed before. I don't like owning that I have ADHD as much yet. I'm getting used to it. I feel like when I say that I have ADHD, I'm apologizing and excusing, but I know I'm greater than letting that consume me. So I'm in that process. So I'm not excusing myself when I say it. I'm just telling you, I was told I have it. So that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Let me tell you something. Do not be ashamed if you have ADHD. And it's not an excuse. It's for people to understand that your brain is different from theirs. As a society, we need to be more accepting of people who have different neural pathways and who are neurodiverse. I believe that is slowly happening, but not happening rapidly enough. The fact that sis feels embarrassed or she feels like, oh, I don't want to use it as a crutch. No, you should tell people and explain it to them, because then they should be able to understand, okay, I have to explain things differently to her and I have to maybe operate in a different way around her because she has a short attention span. Although medication can improve your attention span, you still have a lot to work around, especially when it comes to focus, when it comes to relationships. It took me a long time to realize that I had it. And once I realized I had it, I was very happy and I felt free. Why? Because my marriage improved exponentially. What my husband and I thought were personality differences was actually us being undiagnosed. I have ADHD, he has OCPD. We even talked about it on one of our live streams. You can go check it out. I'll place a link to the video here. But I think it's important to have these conversations because this can help explain a lot of the behavior that she exhibited. And instead of trying to shy away from it, I do feel like people should own it. There was an article written by Psychiatry UK, and the title is 5 Signs Your ADHD is Breaking Up Your Marriage. Let's read it. ADHD is a good news diagnosis. All the research shows that with treatment, ADHD can be well managed by 70 to 80% of adults. For most who get their diagnoses as adults, there is a massive sense of relief as at last you have an explanation of what is going on in your life and an obvious path for significant improvement. You might think that all you need to do is take that pill. Taking that pill is not enough. That is very true, because along with the pill and the medication that I'm taking, I'm also doing a lot of therapy, more specifically cognitive behavioral therapy. And then I'm also going to go into personal therapy soon. So it's a lot of work, y'all. It's not just one pill solves it all. This is a brain function issue. It's not something that can easily be resolved because you were born with it. Is ADHD impacting your relationship? These are the 5 relationship problems that they have identified. So parent-child dynamics. Often the partner without ADHD has taken on most of the responsibilities and resents the pressure this creates. This is usually as a result of the ADHD partner having trouble following through on tasks that are boring or need full attention. One indicator that parent/child dynamics are going on is that one partner feels she or he has another child for a spouse rather than an adult partner. This dynamic is incredibly destructive to both partners. Part of the power of the ADHD diagnosis is finding a path to bring you both back to being equal status partners. And we could clearly see it with Jeannie, because Jeezy said one thing he loved about her is her childlike ways. This is a positive and a negative aspect of having ADHD. So for example, in my marriage, there were times where we did have the parent-child dynamic, especially at the beginning of our relationship, especially during the first year of our marriage. You could go back and watch our videos. I have to learn how to adapt to you, right? So I think because the problem is you're very like you want me to change right away, but it's hard. It's hard because I've had these habits for a long time, you know what I mean? It takes time to change a lot of habits. Red flag. Yes, I'm giving myself a red flag. Listening to myself at that time, I was a big red flag. This is what lack of accountability looks like. Just showing you all what it looks like when you are undiagnosed. You don't know you need help and you thinking that, oh yeah, everything's going to be fine. I'm just going to change real quick and life will be good. It took me 4 years to get to where I am right now. And I'm still a work in progress. But I just wanted to highlight what a couple looks like when they are both undiagnosed, because Dom also was undiagnosed at this time. So let's watch just a little bit more and then we'll get back to Jeannie and Jeezy.
If you already choose someone to get married and then you realize that person is an organization, it's a serious things that don't try to change that things. It's not going to work. You're gonna waste your energy at all, and then it's not going to work. Person is not able to change someone's personality.
But okay, so me being unorganized has affected you in a lot of ways. However, can you admit that you are very, very extremely more organized than normal people?
Oh, I can understand your point. So you try to tell me I'm super organized, so I'm a super organization gonna make you our relationship is more complicated. Oh, no.
Red flag. See, Dom didn't even recognize he had an issue, y'all. Didn't recognize it at all. He thought that I was just the problem. This is also another case of not having any type of awareness and accountability. Just letting y'all know that at that time, we didn't know it, but he had OCPD. I think that, with love and with a lot of patience and through a lot of effort, then, we definitely are going to make this marriage work. Red flag. Wrap us right up. Pack us up out of here. That did not help at all. We was just being hard-headed and stubborn in our undiagnosed state. Thankfully, today I can tell you that yes, with love, effort, medication, and therapy, we are doing A-okay. Next, I left those videos up because I wanted people to see the growth, and I was very undiagnosed at that time. Once my husband realized that, hey, it's not that she's doing it on purpose, it's actually a brain issue, and we both worked through it. And the same thing with him with his OCPD. Once I realized that, hey, actually, it's not because he wants to be that way. It's because his brain is just wired that way. And once we realized that, it was just so much easier to get things going and also to improve every aspect of our love life. Number 2, the constant critique. And this is where the ADHD partner has to complete unfinished household chores or change their quote unquote lazy habits. And it's just too much for non-ADHD partners to feel they are forced to nag, remind, and tell the ADHD how to do things better. Unfortunately, unless the spouses have agreed that specific types of reminders are necessary and acceptable, this just doesn't work. Nagging always hurts a relationship. The issue isn't one of willpower on the part of the ADHD partner, but rather brain wiring. A better choice is to set up ADHD sensitive structures and habits to support better distribution of chores and timely completion. It can really be done. Absolutely. And that has helped Dom and I a lot. And I'm pretty sure Jeannie was also going through this because she got diagnosed with ADHD after she got married to GC. So this means that the problems were just too much for him. And I think that things heightened after she gave birth to her daughter. That makes complete sense. And so this is why it's important to really try to recognize the signs. And this is why I always bring up mental health in a lot of the case studies, is because I want you guys to realize that sometimes relationship problems are deeper than what you think. It takes more than just talking through things. You actually have to see someone. And some of these issues cannot be fixed amongst yourselves. You actually have to seek the help of a professional. The third point, the hyper-focused courtship. For many without ADHD, you just haven't been courted until you experience the amazing hyper-focus a person with ADHD can deliver. In those early days, you feel like the sun, moon, and stars all combine. This person really, really does love you. It's everything you ever dreamed it could be. Unfortunately, that hyper-focused stage inevitably ends, often quite abruptly. Distraction once again becomes the ADHD norm. The non-ADHD partner is left feeling confused and alone. She or he might start to feel as if she or he was tricked or made a fool of, that it was all some sort of act. It wasn't. It's ADHD. Facts. Number 4. No matter how hard you both try, things never seem to change except for the worse. Until couples know ADHD is part of their relationship, they tend to choose ADHD-unfriendly solutions to their problems. One example, asking an ADHD partner to just try harder and expecting a better outcome. Another example, trying to suppress a non-ADHD partner's anger because there's no obvious way to express it without incurring quite dramatic and even frightening defensive responses. Once you know about ADHD, though, you can choose different approaches which are known to be effective when ADHD is present in one or both of the partners. And then the fifth is you have a child diagnosed with or suspected of having ADHD. ADHD is highly heritable. Adults with ADHD have about a 50% chance of having a child with ADHD. The degree of heritability of ADHD is right up there with eye and hair color. So to put it the other way around, if you have a child with ADHD, the chances are very high that at least one of the parents has it too. That is a fact, y'all. One of my parents definitely has it. If you already know one of you has ADHD, then just assume it's impacting your marriage. Once you learn more, you'll usually see that it is.
Another trait is managing emotions. People with ADHD often manifest anger if that's an emotion that you grew up with. So whatever emotion that you grew up with, that is the emotion you're going to go to when things feel frustrating. Other people, typical people, may process the situation and then have a range of emotions to pick from to go to. Anger is my go-to button immediately. So if I'm reading something and it doesn't make sense, if somebody does something that I feel wasn't the best way to do things, or let's just be honest, didn't do what I told them to do, I will get angry. And at this moment today, I have shared a few times on this show that I'm in therapy to work on my anger because it's not right around other people.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jeannie. We got a breakthrough here. And I'm glad that she finally understands that. Because yes, it is not right.
My brother, Dennis, is really close to me and he sees it. He looks at me and he's like, Jeannie, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you yelling? I've been so embarrassed because I know he's right, but I don't want to also admit it. And it takes like a day for it to subside before I can tell him I'm sorry, which is also something that is shared in this book. The difference between you and people that don't have ADHD, whatever this frontal lobe is here versus this back lobe. This frontal lobe is where you process tasks and you think about things that you have to do. And your back lobe area is where you process emotion. This book describes it as the butler and the angry neighbor. For me, I'm going to describe it as your really good friend and Mama Mai. When your really good friend sees that you're not on task or you may be out of focus, you're not paying attention, they'll nudge you and they'll be like, hey, you good? Are you okay? Mama Mai back here is like, why you stupid? Why you read that wrong? Why you cook this wrong? I told you do this and now you late. Now what happened? And it's like anxiety, right? This is for me, Mama Mai with me. People with ADHD, your frontal area, your good friend, isn't always there, maybe checked out for lunch, maybe only works Mondays and Fridays. Everybody with ADHD, the spectrum is different. So your good friend is different there, but you do have your back lobe. So when you do not function the way typical people do, you'll go straight to that emotion in the back, and whatever that person is in the back, giving it to you, it will affect you, lash out or get with it really withdrawn and depressed and feel let down about yourself. And the other thing with ADHD that I think we all face, and it is the A in ADHD, is attention. You cannot focus. You are all over the place, or you clock out, or you get tired. For me, I start yawning. It's a whole thing. The great news is these can be superpowers if you treat them right.
Jeannie was not only learning how to manage being a wife, a mother, and having ADHD as an adult, she still was trying to work on her relationship with her mother during this time. And so we're going to watch another video titled Breaking the Cycle, The Family Healing Continues, and we'll see if things have changed between her and her mama.
Why is it called ghost in the nursery though?
Because they haunt you as a parent. Sometimes they come up while you're parenting and you have a similar situation that you went through as a child.
Mom, I had to spill the beans. I don't care anymore.
Growing up, if I was nervous or I was afraid or I wasn't sure of people or a stranger you made me bow to or hang out with,
right,
I wasn't encouraged to share my feelings. Smile, smile, go hug them. Are you happy to see them? Be happy, even though I hated the bitch. Happy, go look at her.
Red flag to all the immigrant parents that used to have us do this. I had the same exact experience with my parents too, especially my mother. In Haitian culture, y'all know that we have to kiss each other. We call it saluer, which means that you have to greet people by kissing them on the cheek. I had to kiss sweaty cheeks, people who I felt were a bit weird. It was just bad. And it was like a must. You couldn't do it. If you didn't do it, it's seen as a sign of disrespect. So I get where Jeannie's coming from, but it's cultural, Jeannie, and that's another layer of the conversation. Your mother is straight from Vietnam. You can't get rid of that.
Go hug them. Go take a picture. Go. Hold them and give them a kiss. I was forced to kiss so many random gross uncles and people I didn't like. I'm not going to force Monaco to kiss anybody. I'm not going to force Monaco to hug anybody unless Monaco wants to. Automatically, if that's your uncle, if that's your cousin, if this is your neighbor and your parents say they're okay, trust them.
But that's how you only wanted 2 years ago.
Listen, Mom, you're not listening.
Mama, my red flag, you lying. Okay, I know you lying. Because even though you say, well, you didn't have to kiss them, please. Because I remember one time I forgot to kiss an elder and my mom let me have it, y'all. She was like, oh, you're so disrespectful. I didn't raise you to be like that. How could you be like that? You have to say hi to everybody. I didn't raise anyone to be rude. You have to apologize to this person. How could you miss this person? Trust me, you have the parental pressure. So I'm not believing what you're selling, Mama Ma. She had to do the greetings. Trust and believe me, she had to.
Please listen, this is very serious. What that did to me is later on when I was 8, 9 years old and I met relatives, that one relative that really took advantage of me, Mom, and touched me in places that was not okay.
That's a different story then.
Mom, you're not listening. I did not learn how to say no. I don't want to touch you. I am not comfortable with you hugging me. Actually, I'm not comfortable with you coming over to my house to babysit me. Mom, I don't like the way he makes me feel. He makes me feel uncomfortable. I didn't know how to say that because I never was taught to listen to my feelings, that it's okay, I feel weird right now. I am not talking about bowing and saying hello. You can bow and say hello.
Right.
But don't force a kid to ignore their feelings. I think we both know all too well what that feels like. To never, ever let that repeat itself ever again.
And it gives us a chance to have empathy for each other.
Let's fast forward a bit. While Jeannie spent the later year of 2022 just healing herself and working on her Hello Honey brand, Jeezy was hard at work on his autobiography, Adversity for Sale. In the latter part of 2022 and 2023, Jeezy released 2 projects, one titled Snowfall, and the second one titled I Might Forgive, But I Don't Forget. Now let's fast forward to spring of 2023, May to be exact, when Jeannie and Jeezy took a trip to Vietnam.
It was a chance to step away from the stress of our world.
Jeezy and I have been blessed with the gift of beautiful Monaco, who's a blend of both of our worlds, being half Black and Vietnamese. So now, we're 2 years into our marriage, and before things could get any crazier, I had to honor my OG vision to take Daddy to Vietnam for the very first time. So I surprised him for our 2-year anniversary. I gave him instructions on what to pack. I forced the man to take 3 weeks off.
Red flag. So you had to force him to take 3 weeks off. And also you were the one who planned your anniversary trip. This is not okay, Jeannie. This just shows me that he was starting to withdraw. Because the fact that you had to force him to take time off and he wasn't willing and happy to do it already sets the stage for me. This man has been checked out.
First off, it has a commitment to sustainability. Number 2, environment preservation. And number 3, quiet luxury.
Not only did sis have him resting in luxury, but she also took him canoeing.
When I look at this video, I will forever remember that my husband hates me at this very moment.
Oh, sis, I think this was when he realized it's too much for me. See, again, we have the lack of consideration. I mean, I understand maybe it was his first time or whatnot, but if you see that he doesn't like it, then you stop and then you do something else. It seemed like this whole trip was planned with what she wanted in mind. Similar to the whole Freddie experience when he went to Vietnam and they did what she wanted. And I get it because they're the guests in her country, but also you have to consider what the person would like to do. You can't just impose what you want to do. It's a vacation for the both of y'all.
We went on the train, Mom, and not only just a train, the first ever.
He looks tired, y'all. He looks exhausted. And I can see it in his eyes. He's like, look, I'm just doing this because she's my wife. He wants to rest since this is just go, 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 go. I'm getting the sense that it may have been a bit too much for Jeezy.
Luxury train in Vietnam.
Are you on first class?
Mom, it's
On the
beyond
train?
first class. So only us. And they had these really cool sleeping quarters. And it was for one person each. But honestly, I don't even care how luxurious or fancy it was. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm around a bunch of people I don't know. I slept right there on top of my husband for the whole 6 hours.
But it wasn't just the breathtaking scenery that captivated us. It was the tradition of releasing little lanterns onto the water, each carrying our heartfelt wishes for our future together.
Please do not go there, y'all. If you go to Vietnam, avoid that place at all costs. Spoiler alert, the lanterns didn't work. 4 months after their trip to Vietnam, young Jeezy filed for divorce after 2 years of marriage. Although I did mention in the last part that part 4 would be the conclusion of this case study, there was just too much to cover. And so for that reason, please stay tuned for the final part of the Jeannie and Jeezy case study